What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big Nick Energy YouTube channel. The Knicks won tonight 121-105 against the Washington Wizards. If you're streaming through Twitter or Instagram, because now we're on Instagram as well, going live, hop on over to YouTube. It's a lot more fun here because your comments actually show up well. And especially if you're on Instagram watching this, hop on over to YouTube because it's hard for me to read the comments from the Instagram live and over here. But welcome in everyone. This was a solid win tonight, a fairly good win. I don't want to say it was a completely great win just because we had a pretty big lead and we did end up blowing it. They cut it down to I think the best they got was down to 5, which was pretty close and a little bit scary. So I would say this was a solid win. You know, they held it down the last few minutes of that fourth quarter, and they were playing defense again, and that's what led to this win. It was getting pretty close at times, and I was definitely feeling like we were going to blow this entire lead and end up losing. But the Knicks came back. They finally showed up, and kudos to everyone tonight. Definitely another team win over here. But shout out to our All-Stars. Hopefully our future All-Stars. Julius Randle, who had 39 points. He was 13 for 23 from the field. He had 3 3-pointers, along with 7 rebounds and 5 assists. Great all-around game from him, along with 1 steal. And our other All-Star, Jalen Brunson, he had 33 tonight. He was 10 for 18 from the field, pretty efficient. 4 threes tonight, and he also had 8 assists. A lot of assists there. I love when he has a combo game like that with the points and the assists. You could tell he was sharing the ball. And he also had 3 rebounds. Shout out the rebounds. I also like to mention that their free throws, they shot really well from the free throw line tonight. Brunson was 9 for 9. Super proud of that. And Julius Randle was 10 for 13. So they both got to the free throw line a lot tonight, but that's just what they do. They're great players. They know how to draw contact. That's what they do. Ricky said, "Yo, Mills, I was waiting for you. Randall was litty tonight, 4-0, 4-0 in the OG era." You're right. Randall was great tonight. I'm glad that he bounced back after having the game that he did last night. We know that he only scored 1 field goal yesterday, but he bounced back and nearly had 40 points. So that's a great way to bounce back. And especially against a bad team, you want to get back in rhythm, get back in your groove. He did that tonight. He was bullying them like he always does. He's bullying the entire league right now. I mean, besides last night, he's been bullying everyone, all the different teams. He's been scoring like crazy, and just a big part of his playing style, a big part of his offensive game is getting to the rack. So he bullies his way there. He literally does. He's a huge guy, and that's what he does best. But you're right. We're 4-0 in the OG era now. It's crazy to think about. I definitely think we could extend this winning streak a little bit more. I'll talk about that later when we'll go through the next 10 games on the schedule. But we can definitely extend it, I feel like. And I'm really happy we're 4-0. Little win streak going on here. And OG plays a huge part of it. Obviously, everyone's playing really great right now between Randle, Brunson, and you got other guys stepping up like Hartenstein. But I would say OG is one of the big factors involved in it as well. As soon as we got him, he made a change in the defensive culture. It's the little things that he does. And I think it was Bill Pito or Clyde that said this during the broadcast. They said all the things that he does, it won't show up in the box score. It won't. It's not going to show up on the stat line because he's helping out on defense on every play. He's forcing turnovers, and the little things like that, they won't exactly show up, and it won't look like it's a big game from him, but defensively, he's out there showing up, and he's really providing a difference. I mean, you guys just watch him, and he is truly making a difference, helping on every possession. He's forcing turnovers. It's amazing to watch. It truly feels like our defense is changed. Ricky said Action Brunson was amazing tonight too. Yeah, Brunson did his thing, man. And that clutch 3 that he hit at the end. I mean, he had 4 in total tonight, but I love when he hits those clutch shots. He's super clutch, honestly. Probably the most clutch player on the team. We've seen many moments where he hits late game shots, and it's usually a 3-2, the 3 dagger right there. And I'm super happy that he's in the groove that he is in right now. I really hope that he continues to play like this because it's helping us get wins, and he deserves more recognition than he's ever going to get. You know, you have people out here on mainstream media or just NBA casual fans not giving him the respect he deserves or the recognition. But us Knicks fans, we know it's different. We know what Brunson is. We know Jalen Brunson is our 1A. Shout out Becky Hammond, but he is our 1A, and we are going to rock with him. He leads this team. He's a leader, and he's a pure scorer. He's amazing. He's a great player. Jose said, this shows how Julius isn't built to play against the big dogs. This makes me worry for when playoffs come. What are you talking about, though? Julius isn't built to play with the big dogs, man. Are you talking about last night because he struggled against Embiid and the Sixers? Because the night prior, he was great. The game prior, he was great against the Timberwolves. Now, we got to start giving Julius Randle some more credit. He had one bad night in a while. I definitely think he can compete with the big dogs. His game is elevated this season. You know, last season, he was a 25-10 guy, made the All-Star team, made All-NBA. But this season, his game is elevated in a different way. I think he's using more of his physical. He's being more physical, basically, and I love to see it. And I just think we need to give him a little bit more credit. He's been showing up for us almost every night. Besides last night, struggled a little bit, but he's been doing his thing. Almighty said we got to get OG more involved in the offense. Yeah, I definitely agree. He said it himself, I believe, before he got traded to the Knicks, when he was on Toronto still, that he wants a larger offensive role, and he's not really getting that right now, at least. Let's see how many shots he took tonight. I don't think he took too many, honestly. I only saw him took a few. Yeah, so tonight he only took 7 shots from the field and three three-pointers, had 9 points in total. I definitely think he needs to shoot the ball more, and I think they need to look for him in the corner, the left corner specifically, because that's where he's been amazing. I think they said he shoots 51% from that left corner, one of the best in the league, if not the best, from that corner, and they need to find him there every time. If, the double team comes for Randle or the double team comes for Brunson, they need to pass it out there, and he will hit that shot. He shoots it very, very well from that left corner. And then also he just needs to get the ball more in general, not just in the corner, but sometimes he looks a little bit hesitant to shoot it. I saw that a little bit tonight. He definitely will get more comfortable as he plays more games with the Knicks, with the guys, Brunson, Randle, Dante, and Hartenstein. I think he'll feel more comfortable in a few more games, and maybe we might see him taking more shots, taking more initiative, because I want him to get the ball and not immediately pass it back or just feel like he has to pass it back. I'd like him to do something with the ball, create a shot, dribble and create a shot, do what he can. I want to see what he has to offer. He said he wants a bigger offensive role, then let's see it. Jose said, referring to Randle, he doesn't bully Philly, Boston, and Milwaukee. Well, that's not necessarily true, just because, okay, we played Boston like 2 times in the very beginning of the season, and that was when he was struggling. Like the first 10 games of the season, we know Julius Randle had awful field goal percentage, awful percentage from the 3-point line. He was in a really bad slump to start this season, but ever since that slump has been over, he has really been such a better player, and he's gotten into a groove now where he will consistently put up 25 to 30 a night. Besides last night, I have to mention. So we haven't played Boston in a while. I would definitely love to. We don't play Boston until I think February. I'm not actually sure. I have to fact check that. But if we were to play Boston in our next game, I would love to see how the Knicks would do now. Because the first few times we played them, it was very different. Julius Randle was in a slump, and we had a different team. We had RJ Barrett, we had Emmanuel Quickly. Now we're a different team. We have OG Anunoby, who brings a different side to our defense. And it could be a whole different ballgame if we were to play Boston tomorrow. He said, "Did you watch the playoffs last year? I don't care about the season. He seems to tighten up when facing the East big dogs." Trust me, I did watch the playoffs, and I got on him for that. I've always been very skeptical of Randle ever since the playoffs. I was super upset that he tremendously underperformed. But after it's been over 6 months since that playoff series, since the playoffs in general, we have to understand that he legitimately got hurt. He hurt his ankle. I mean, he was dealing with injury. We saw him get hurt. And he had ankle surgery for that. That's proof right there that he did get hurt. And I have definitely been, skeptical still about Randle, saying he has to show up in the playoffs. I completely agree. He has to show up in this year's playoffs when we make it there. But we can't discredit what he's been doing in the regular season right now. It's still been amazing. I really hope it translates to the postseason. I mean, are we just going to keep talking about his playoff woes until the next playoff series starts? That's a few months from now, and I think right now we should appreciate his greatness, appreciate the way he's been playing, and when that time comes, we'll get to that conversation. If it happens again, it happens, and we'll make a decision about that, whether it's a trade or something else. Tehran said Julius just dropped 49 against the best team in the West. Exactly. Let's show him some respect. He's been scoring crazy lately. I mean, tonight he had 39, near 40. I think it was last night he had 39 as well. I need to check that, but he's been amazing. And I get what you mean. I was definitely down on Randle for a lot of his career here in New York. And I still am when I see certain plays that I don't like, or even last night when he was struggling so much, he was forcing it a lot, and I didn't like that. I literally said to myself, I wish he wouldn't force it when he's struggling. I would prefer that he passes it up, or even if the coach puts him on the bench if he's really not feeling it that night, because we have other options and we have other players that can step up that did last night. That's why we won, between McBride, Grimes, Brunson. And so there's still things that, will bother me to this day about Julius Randle's playing style or his game. But nonetheless, he's been a huge part of our success for the past 15, 20 games with the way he's been playing. Yeah, I get what you mean, Jose. He said, "I love Julius, but you just need to understand that when the playoffs start, he's got to go from 1A to 1." I agree, 100%. Like, he needs to be that guy for us. We can't have it happen again because it's already happened twice. Different reasons for both times, but if it happens again, like, truly, I think I would be done. I would be very sick and tired of it, but I just really hope it doesn't happen again. Michael said, "I didn't like the third quarter. Everyone was playing lazy and not getting back on defense." Yeah, the third quarter was completely awful. The Wizards came out there, they tightened up their defense, and they were actually hitting their shots now. That's why they were able to cut it down so low. I mean, the biggest lead we had tonight was 27, and by halftime, I think it was 20. But in that third quarter, they cut it down a lot. Like you said, they were playing lazy, and I think that tends to happen to the Knicks a lot when they come out of halftime. I hadn't seen it yet during this OG era, I would say, post trade, but I've seen a lot of games where the Knicks come out of halftime and they're just straight up lazy. They're like, I wonder to myself, what were they doing in that locker room to make them play this way? No effort on defense, bricking shots. But it was a little scary to see them blow the lead so fast. The Wizards are a super fast team. Speaking of fast, the Wizards are a super fast team on the fast break. That's the main reason why they were able to cut the lead down so low, is that every rebound they got, they would push it to their basket, and they were quick. Our guys were not hustling back at all. That's one thing that I didn't like about tonight, and that's one reason I'll say that this was a solid win. Not a great win, but a solid win. There were definitely moments in the game, like you said, in the third quarter, that we could have been better. Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life Podcast said Julius was struggling and not healthy, still recovering from the ankle. Yeah. I'm not sure which. I mean, if you're talking about during the playoffs, he definitely wasn't healthy with his ankle, struggling a lot. We all know that. And if you're talking about, I don't know if you're talking about the first 10 games of the season, because I did mention that earlier. I definitely think what you're saying is right. He was still struggling, adjusting, coming back out of surgery. I mean, he had surgery in June and the season started basically in October. So just a few months right there that he had to rehab and basically transform himself into his old self. And it was definitely difficult at first. He was adjusting the first 10 games or so. HRM said Dante and whoever we pick up next, hopefully a vet ball handler to protect the ball when we tighten up in the playoffs. Curious to know, who would you like to pick up? I know you said a vet ball handler, but comment if you have any suggestions, because we were doing Big Nick Energy, me and the other co-hosts were doing a video earlier about some potential trade candidates for the Knicks before the deadline. The main people we spoke about were DeJounte Murray, Malcolm Brogdon, and we spoke about Donovan Mitchell a little bit. And we mentioned a few others, but those were the main three guys. And Jose said, Isaiah for president. I've always thought he was better than Mitch. Truly, Isaiah Hartenstein has been a gift sent to us. Like when Mitchell Robinson went down, I thought the season was over. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I had a little doubt for these Knicks, and I thought our season was going to be not what I expected it, not having Mitchell Robinson. But Hartenstein has literally been a gift. He's been an amazing replacement. Tonight he had 8 points. Let's see, he had 2 blocks, 4 steals. Man, this guy's a beast on both ends of the court. Like, he can pass the ball, he can block shots, he can steal the ball. He's been doing it a lot post trade. Ever since the New Year started, and he grabbed 19 rebounds. That's insane. I wasn't keeping track of the rebound stat, but to see he almost had another 20 rebound game. What did we do to deserve Isaiah Hartenstein? I really don't know. I think whether it's the universe or it's God, they were gifting us, because Mitchell Robinson went down, and now we have Isaiah Hartenstein, who is a complete beast. He's already had multiple games where he's had similar to 20 rebounds. I know he had a 20 rebound game before, 19 tonight. It's incredible what he's been able to do. And you said you always thought he was better than Mitch. I'm curious to know if Mitch, what's going on this summer. Would you pay him the contract instead of Mitch? Because do you think he should be the starting center from now on, even when Mitch gets healthy? Like, what's going on here? I've been thinking about it for a little while now. Looking at Isaiah Hartenstein, he fits in so well with that starting unit, and he can do a lot more than Mitch does. He can pass the ball really well, and he can score the ball. Last night he had 17 points. You wouldn't get that from Mitch, but it's a tough decision to think about right there, what we do with Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein, because if we don't pay Isaiah Hartenstein this summer, he's going to go to a different team. Someone else is going to pay him, because he's a starting center in this league. He's proven it. He's doing it for us, so he can very possibly do it for another team. GT said once the playoff starts, Julius Randle needs to be mentally tougher. No pointing, forcing shots, bad turnovers. You're right. Literally spot on with what you said. No pointing, forcing shots, and bad turnovers. We see a little bit of it every game, I would say, or not every game, but we do still see a little bit of the forcing shots and the bad turnovers. I just mentioned it last night. He was forcing it a lot. He was 1 for 11 from the field, I believe, and I think he had a few turnovers as well. Some nights we see it. We get a little bit of flashbacks from playoff Randle, where he loves to force the shots and dribble into like 4 guys, and then turn over the ball. But he needs to learn from that. He has to understand and feel confident that the people that are around him, the players around him, he needs to trust them and pass it out to them. I know he sometimes, when he's struggling too, he really wants to get going, so he will take as many shots as he could. He will just keep shooting it, keep dribbling, and trying to do his ISO ball that he does. But sometimes teams figure him out, so it's difficult for those teams that double him really well or triple team him, and he's not able to pass it out fast enough. He needs to learn to do that better. He has to trust the guys like Jalen Brunson around him. He needs to trust Dante DiVincenzo, OG Anunoby, especially in the left corner. Trust that shot. It's going in 51% of the time. I can only hope that by the time playoffs come, they're all so comfortable with each other that Randle will make the right passes instead of turning over the ball or forcing up a bad shot. PMCG said we all got to vote for Julius and Brunson more. You're completely right. We need to start voting, or I mean not start, but if you've been voting, keep voting. If you haven't voted yet, please start voting for Julius and Brunson. Go to vote.nba.com. I know it's a little bit of a hassle just because you have to create an NBA account or an account, and it's a hassle to log in and use your email and all that, I know, but all of us are on a platform right here. We're on a social media platform, whether that be YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. We could take at least 30 seconds out of our day to switch over to a web browser and open up the website to vote for them. We could do it because if you saw the voting, the first round of voting came back, Julius Randle was not placed or ranked in the fan voting. He wasn't ranked at all. I think Jalen Brunson was ranked 6th in the guards, which is still, to me, it's pretty low. We had guys like Tyrese Maxey over him, and Jalen Brunson should definitely be, to me, over Maxey. I mean, look at the performances last night. Jalen versus Maxey. Jalen was definitely better, and we need to get these guys in the All-Star game, especially Jalen. It would be his first All-Star appearance. I would love to see that for him. Both these guys deserve it. Look at the numbers they put up tonight, and not just tonight, but they've been doing it every night. Randle, 39. Brunson, 33. With Brunson's 33, he had 8 assists. With Randle's 39, he had 7 rebounds and 5 assists. These guys deserve to go to the All-Star game. They've been playing phenomenal, great basketball, and it's leading to wins. Jose said, health is not an excuse for any player. If you're hurt, sit down. I hear where you're coming from, Jose, because in the playoffs when he was hurt, I mean, you could see it, and he was playing really bad. I definitely was screaming at the TV that Tibbs should put him on the bench. We did have a backup power forward at that time. We had Obi Toppin. I know he's not exactly a great replacement for Randle because Randle's on a complete different level than Obi, but it should have been done. There's certain games in the playoffs where Randle should have been on the bench and Obi should have just been playing instead. It had to have been better than what Randle was doing. Anything would have been better than having someone out there who's hurt and is really hurting the team. Sneak said first 10 games of the season when he struggled versus the Celtics twice. Yeah. That's what I was alluding to earlier when someone said that he really can't show up against the big guys, the Celtics, the Bucks, and I think it was the Sixers. We beat the Sixers yesterday. We beat the Bucks on Christmas. We have to face the Bucks again because you just mentioned it. When we played them multiple times, it was the first 10 games of the season, and he was severely struggling then. Winston said, well, Randle had one bad game since the trade. Let's see what Randle will do moving forward. Which Randle are we going to get? We need to trade him while his stock is high because he thinks he's a PG. Some parts of me definitely think about the fact that his stock is really high right now, and he's a all-star player, all NBA. He's on an all NBA level right now, and he's been with us for a few years now. I suppose that if the Knicks front office wanted to trade him right around this time or before the deadline or this summer would probably be the best, probably the best option right there. He's been playing great, and I mean, this would be to get like ultimate superstar though. Like, there's not a lot of guys that could do what Julius Randle is doing that are on the market and that are, we could trade for. So I think if you were doing a trade with Julius Randle, it would be for the ultimate star that would lead this team. Guys like Joel Embiid, basically. Let's look at some more comments over here. Murphy said, I think Trey. Oh, sorry. Abuelo said, I think Trey Murphy would be awesome for us. Would love to have him in our lineup. Yeah, so one second. Sorry. So Trey Murphy, I'm going to just reference this for anyone who's in the chat or who's watching. So Trey Murphy is a shooting guard for the Pelicans. He averages 13. Oh, very underrated. He averages nearly 14 points per game, nearly 4 rebounds, only 1.6 assists though, and he's shooting on 44%. Very underrated. I haven't really watched Pelicans games this year that much, but I like that you mentioned him because I haven't really heard anyone mention him in any Knicks trade rumors. That's an interesting option right there. Curious because I haven't really watched his games. If you know, is he starting for the Pelicans or is he coming off the bench? Because ideally, I think we would like to have him come off the bench. With IQ gone, we do need that other scorer. I mean, that would be the best for us, honestly. So if you do know that, you could comment and we'll discuss it a little bit more. Sneak said, lots of talk about Malcolm Brogdon, probably makes the most sense. Yeah, and there was a legit source that came out the other day that the Knicks are interested in him. They've considered trading for him. That's what the headline said, and it was legit. I've seen the reporter a few times online. Let's see. Winston said, everyone hit the like button. It helps the channel grow. Mill does a great job. Thank you, Winston. Trying my best. Definitely trying my best here. And I really appreciate everyone that tunes in and watches and comments. I really like hearing what you guys have to say. So it's not just me babbling on for, an hour, because the comments really keep the stream going, keeps it flowing. Another really positive comment. It says, Mill, I'm serious. You have a super great career in sports commentary. You are so good at what you do and captivating. Appreciate that, Ricky. That's super motivating, and I love to hear comments like that. Really appreciate you. Jose said, gave him playing time, has always been like this. Tibbs is just stubborn. Mitch should be moved. Package him with, whoa. This is a lot to unpack here. Mitch should be moved, package him with some picks, and get yourself a decent player. Mitch has proven he's injury prone. Yeah. So the whole comment is referring to Mitchell Robinson. I think when I was speaking about him earlier, Mitch is definitely injury prone, and it's really unfortunate that he is, because I wish he wasn't. He's a great center when he's not. He was off to such a great start this season before he got injured, leading the league in offensive rebounds, and he was impacting the game. He was impacting this Knicks team in a positive way. But I mean, you're right. You have to look at what makes your team better, and right now, Hartenstein, the way he's been playing with the Knicks starters, he's been playing on this team, is phenomenal. He's been replacing Mitchell Robinson the best way he could, and I think he's the guy we stick with, and for the long run, honestly, because you're right. Mitchell Robinson's injury prone. I hate to say it, but the time might come where the Knicks do trade him eventually. Jonathan said, "Woo, back to the 4th seed." Are we though? Because I was checking Google and it says we're the 5th seed. I don't know why. Oh no, just updated. Oh, I think because one of either the Pacers just played. Yeah. You're right. Back to the 4th seed. So yeah, the Knicks are 21-15 on the season. I would say though that the spots are really close in the East right now between the Knicks, the Heat, the Magic, the Pacers, and the Cavaliers. So besides us, the teams I just listed, they all have won 20 games. We won 21, and we're up on top right now. So 3rd seed, here we come. Let's get it. We just beat the Sixers. They're right above us on the 3rd seed. I truly think we could hit the 3rd seed. It's going to be tough, but I think we could do it. We have to do it. I predicted we'd be 3rd or 4th seed. I would love to be 3rd because it's just I'm confident in these Knicks. I'm confident in this Knicks team. I definitely think we could do it. We just have to keep it up, because the East is so stacked. It's very close in the standings. We just went from literally 8th to 4th. So look at that. That's crazy. We need to be consistent and keep winning. I don't want to go back to 8th. Didn't like being in that position. Well, let's stick here for a little while now and then climb our way up to 3rd. Sneak said, definitely deal Mitch. Isaiah bringing energy, intensity we need. Can't lose Hartenstein. You're right. Yeah, I was just talking about it. Eventually, I think we're going to deal Mitch. Isaiah brings a lot more to the table as a player, and he's been great for us as a starting center. Sean Kelly said, Dante, Deuce, and Grimes trying their best so that the front office doesn't need to make a trade. Yeah, they definitely are trying their best because after the trade with IQ and RJ, I think the whole Knicks team was taken aback a little bit. They were probably shocked as well and scared for their spot on the team. But they've been playing pretty well since the trade. I know they had 2 role players last night, had a great game. Grimes had 19, McBride had 15. So they're definitely trying to step up. Not just the fact that they don't want to get traded, but the fact that they need to step up because now without Emmanuel Quickley, you're missing 15 points per game. Sometimes it was 20 points per game. There was a lot of nights Emmanuel Quickley was putting up 20 for us, truly being that 6th man. So guys like Grimes and Deuce and Dante, well, Dante's a starter, but they need to step up. They need to step up off the bench and provide the scoring that they're missing from Quickley. So we've been seeing it a little bit. Let's see tonight. How much did they have? DiVincenzo had 10. McBride he only had 5 tonight, and Grimes had 6. So it's not a lot of points that they accumulated off the bench tonight. Hopefully it'll be more in the next game. I mean, we still got the win, but I would love for our bench to be strong. To face better teams with better benches, we need our bench to be strong. We need scoring off of there. It'll be huge. Jonathan said, Brunson and Randle got my vote a month. Yeah, keep voting for them into the All-Star game if you haven't voted yet. Go to vote.nba.com. It does require you to make an account, but I mean, if you're like me, you've probably made like a million accounts for different things. Well, how can one more hurt, Teresa, what's up, Teresa? Uncle said, and that's facts. What's up, Uncle? No, the comments are a little bit behind, so sometimes I'll be talking about something, and then the comments. So I'm not actually sure what you guys are referring to. If you guys are saying like absolutely and that's facts, but I appreciate the support. Jonathan said, "Amen. Brunson and Randle killed it tonight, and as always, yeah, 4th seed, and we're coming for the 3rd. We're literally going there. I promise you guys, we're gonna get there." Demario said the Knicks are starting off the new year right. Great win, go Knicks. Yeah, we haven't won. Not won. We haven't lost at all this year. Can you believe that, guys? We haven't lost, in 2024. I know it's only been a few games, but still, I love the energy that we've been getting from all these wins. It makes me happy to watch Knicks basketball and happy to have the players that we have, especially OG Anunoby, who we got in the trade. I'm super happy that we got him, and it really benefits us in ways that'll improve this team overall and get us wins. I mean, it's proven already. We've got 4 wins with him, 4-0 in the OG era. Patrick said, we could have gotten past the Heat, but that's neither here nor there. I honestly think we could have got past them as well. We made it to a game 6, and I mean, it's still fresh in my head. The final minutes of that game were crazy. Brunson was carrying us as usual, and I'm not even sure how much he had that game, but he was full on the only one scoring that game. And it got close. The game was close. And I think we were down 3, and he happened to turn over the ball with like 30 seconds left or a minute left. And if we had just won, if we had scored that possession, it could have been a different ball game. It could have been a different ending. And then if we had won that game, we would have went back to the Garden for a game 7. So imagine that. Imagine a game 7 at the Garden. And the Garden was crazy during both playoff series, especially the Cavs one. The Cavs came to the Garden, and they never won a game there. They never won a game again after they came to the Garden. So just imagine a game 7 there. It would have been crazy. Karina said, how aren't these guys top 10 when there are Knicks fans everywhere? I have the same question as you, Karina. I literally wonder it myself. There's Knicks fans everywhere. If you were watching, if I'm sure all of you were watching the game, but if you saw, there were so many Knicks fans in Washington, and how are we not voting them in? Someone mentioned it before. A big part of this fan base is, I would say, a little bit older folks. So I don't necessarily blame them not wanting to, or not knowing how to vote, or not wanting to create an account and everything. But for those who know how to use technology and who know how to open a web browser, get to a website and create an account, log in and vote, please do it. Please. We need the votes for these guys. Ash Matt said, what are your thoughts on Julius going to the playoffs this year? Him playing poor against an elite East team in Philly. So, yeah, he did play really poorly last night, but that was his first off night in a few weeks. And, of course, we have to point it out, and it's going to be pointed out because it was against a good team. My thoughts on him going to the playoffs this year, I know we're making to the playoffs, is that and I said it earlier because someone commented, he has to be better. He has to make the right decisions, and he has to make them faster. We still see it some nights where he is making the same mistake over and over, dribbling into 3 or 4 guys, turning the ball over, forcing the shot when he doesn't need to. He has a great supporting cast around him now. He has Dante DiVincenzo, who can shoot the corner ball really well. He has OG Anunoby, who shoots 51% from the left corner. And then you have Jalen Brunson. So he needs to trust these guys. He needs to trust that if he can't get the shot he wants, he needs to pass it out quickly. Don't take 3 seconds to pass it out, because obviously that's going to lead to a turnover. He's going to get stuck. It's the little things like that I need to see better from him by the time the playoffs come. Knicks tape. Oh, let's go to this one first. Forever Ron said, trade for Brogdon and we're set. Personally, I do think we would be set. In some ways or not, because with the way this Knicks team has been playing and the way our future All-Stars have been playing, Randle and Brunson, they've been consistently playing well. Every I would say like it's not often that Julius Randle has a bad game or Jalen Brunson, and it's very rare for them both to be having a bad game. If Jalen Brunson's having a bad game, usually Randle picks up for it. If Julius Randle's having a bad game, Jalen Brunson picks up for it, like last night. So to me, you might think that we still need another star, and that's okay. Sometimes I get confused in my head, and I think we need that too. Or sometimes I watch games. I mean, not this year yet, but past Knicks games where it felt like we do need someone else to carry this team. And guys like DeJounte Murray come up in the conversation, who I would like that acquisition, just because he's super tall, he's super lengthy, and that could help our team a lot more in the little ways. Like bringing OG in for defense changed everything. He impacted everything, and bringing DeJounte Murray for both offense and defense, it could help a lot. Like it would take off the pressure from Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson, so they both don't need to feel like they need to score 30 a night. But to me, the problem is, and I mentioned this earlier in the other video we filmed about the trade rumors, is if you bring in a guy, your number one superstar or another star, you're taking away touches from Jalen Brunson and even Julius Randle, who I think they should be getting the amount of touches that they're getting right now. To me, Jalen Brunson is our 1A. He's the guy that's leading this team right now. He's putting the team on his back, and he is leading them, and he's been great. I don't really want another star player to come in here and kind of take away from that in a sense. We saw him alongside Luka in Dallas. He was in his shadow for a large majority of it, and clearly he wasn't flourishing there in his shadow. If we bring in another star, I just wouldn't want that same thing to happen. I wouldn't want JB to be put to the side and someone else is getting more touches than him, because, I mean, guys, like Jalen Brunson's been amazing. He's been amazing since the start of 2023. Look back at his stats from January of last year to this January. He's been incredible. And even in the playoffs, he's carried this team. I want him to keep doing that. So to really answer your question, trade for Brogdon and we're set. To me, that's the move. Getting one more consistent player off the bench. Because we really don't know yet if Grimes and McBride or even Hart can be consistent off the bench scoring-wise. We don't know if they could provide that for us. But Brogdon, he is a consistent scorer. He's a former Sixth Man of the Year. He can do it. And DeMario said, who would you give up for Brogdon? Well, I guess it would have to be Grimes, Fournier, maybe Fournier. I don't even know. I'm assuming it would be Grimes, and then I have to look at Brogdon's contract. I don't know what his contract looks like right now, just to add up the numbers and see who we'd have to trade. But I'm assuming it would be one of our guards. I don't think that you could trade McBride right now. They just extended him. I'm not sure about the rules yet, but either Grimes or McBride, if he is tradable. I don't think he is. And then if Fournier is available, if Fournier could work for that, of course we do Fournier. Abuelo said Trey's been playing limited minutes. Okay, thank you for letting me know. I remember earlier I was talking about him and I asked you, was he starting or coming off the bench? And you said he's been playing limited minutes since coming off of a knee injury, unfortunately, but he'd be great off of Brunson and Randle. Yeah. So, he's coming off a knee injury. That's tough. Hopefully he is recovering from that though. And I'm definitely going to look up more highlights of him as soon as this stream is over, because I'm really curious about him. I want to see more of his playing style so that I can make my own I could form my own conclusion on if he'd be a great fit on this team. I mean, I take your word for it. He sounds like a good player. He's averaging 13, nearly 14 on the season and nearly 4 rebounds. So I'm definitely going to look more into it. Coquito said, nah, don't give up Big Mitch. I feel you. I don't want to. I don't want to give up Big Mitch. Mitchell Robinson has been with us for so long. When did he get drafted? Like, I don't even know. Was it 2018? I think it might have had to have been 2018, 2017. He's been our guy, and I keep thinking about how well he started off this season and if he never got hurt. But then again, if he never got hurt, maybe a lot of things wouldn't have happened. Maybe that trade for OG wouldn't have happened. Maybe we wouldn't have seen how great Hartenstein is because he wouldn't have been a starter. I mean, we know Hartenstein is great. We saw it last season, but we didn't know he was this great. He's a starting center in the league now, and he's been performing extremely well. I think at some point we do have to give up Big Mitch. I hate to say it, but it probably is going to happen soon. This summer, most likely. Because I think Hartenstein's going to be a free agent this summer. Let me fact check it right now, just so we know. There's been a lot of rumors stirring up, so that's why I assume he's going to. A lot of people have been saying he's going to get paid this summer, and I keep saying hopefully by the Knicks. Let's see here. So they're just telling me what his contract size with the money. I'll look it up later, but let's move on to a different comment. Jonathan also was talking about Hartenstein and said, at first, I thought Hartenstein should have started. And that's really interesting you said that. I didn't really know much about Hartenstein when he was on the Clippers. It's interesting, too, because he had a little bit of a different playing style on the Clippers and just before he came to the Knicks. But it's really good that you thought he should start in the first place because look at him now. He's starting and he's kind of been like a hidden gem. The fact that he replaced Mitch and we were all super upset about Mitch, but he's been great. Sean Kelly said, my prediction is Mitch is going in the deal for Embiid this offseason. That's a good prediction right there. I mean, it makes sense that we deal off Mitch this summer because we would probably... Oh, but then, I mean, Joel Embiid is playing center right now for the Sixers. I could see that happening, but also I saw a report somewhere, I think it was official too, that the Knicks have talked about, or from, I don't know if it's an official report, I'm pretty sure it was NBA Central on Twitter. They said the Knicks have been talking about trading for Embiid, but they wouldn't include Robinson in that trade deal. Or no, that was for the Timberwolves. Scratch that. Yeah. Speaking of another trade prospect, they actually said that about the Timberwolves. So basically, the Knicks said that they wouldn't trade Mitchell Robinson if they were to get Karl Anthony Towns. They would keep him and sort of do the duo that they have there in Minnesota with Gobert and Towns, but they would do it with Robinson and Towns instead, which is pretty interesting to know that. And obviously Julius Randle will be included in that deal for Towns. The Karl Anthony Towns rumors have pretty much died down now because we heard them a lot in the beginning of the season. Not really anymore. Edsel said, I've never seen the Knicks have so much depth. I'm so hyped. I'm super hyped too because there's so many pieces of this team we now have that I'm super excited for. Between OG Anunoby, a lengthy wing that could play both sides of the court, especially on the defensive end, and I'm still excited about Dante DiVincenzo. I know we got him in the summer, but he's been great. I mean, super underrated. He only had, let's see, I think he had 8 points tonight. He had 10 points tonight. So And I don't think I did the live stream when he had 38 points, but he can shoot the ball and he could score the ball. And I'm still excited to have him on our team as a shooting guard. He's been great in the starting lineup. There's a lot of pieces on this Knicks team that are very valuable, and I'm excited to watch, to keep watching these games and see how they each do. Especially OG because he's still fairly new. We've only seen 4 games with him. Winston said Mitchell and Randle package deal. We don't need them. We need a healthy player and big man who doesn't think he's a point guard. So Mitchell and Randle package deal. We don't need them. Yeah. So you want to package both Mitchell and Randle together? Interesting. Or you're saying, are you talking about Joel Embiid? Sorry, guys, the comments are just a little bit behind. So if I was talking about a subject and you guys are commenting about it and I move on, I probably see it a little bit later. Wallow said, genuinely feel like we can beat every team in the East in the playoffs except Boston and Milwaukee in a series. Yeah, I agree. The Sixers, I know we just beat them by 36, but still, I would just cut them a little bit of slack just because Joel Embiid is still recovering from an ankle injury, and obviously he wouldn't play to his full strengths. But no, he's literally a playoff dropper. So you're kind of right. We would probably beat the Sixers in a playoff series, and OG locked down Tyrese Maxey. So there you go. You're right. But Milwaukee is definitely tricky. I think they have 2 games over 1 this season for us. They've won 2 or 3, I believe. We only won 1 on Christmas. And I would love the new look Knicks to play them again now. I would love that. But Boston is the only team we haven't beat yet. And I really wish we could play them soon, like within the next week, because I need to see if this Knicks team could face them and potentially beat them. They're the best team in the East. They're hard to guard. You have 3. You can consider 4-star players on that team between Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, Porzingis. I mean, Porzingis he's finally healthy. I mean, I think he was dealing with a few injuries throughout the season so far, but he's still been pretty healthy and he's doing his thing there. So I remember that when we did face the Celtics, it was really hard for Mitchell Robinson to guard Porzingis. We know Mitchell Robinson doesn't like to go out to the 3-point line and guard it, but that's what Porzingis does. He shoots 3-pointers. So I would love to see when we play the Boston Celtics again, how Hartenstein would do against him. And if the help defense would be there from OG, can it provide an impact against the Celtics? A few more comments over here. Teresa said Josh has to be the spark coming off of the bench, his jump shot. I would hope he is one of the sparks, if not the only spark. Literally last night he had a prime Josh Hart game, 10 points, 15 rebounds, 6 assists. I mean, that's a crazy all-around game from your role player coming off the bench. If he could find a way to be consistent like that and do that, I wouldn't say on a daily basis because that's just wild. I mean, 15 rebounds right there. I don't know if he could do that on a consistent daily basis, but still, provide at least 10 points a night. We need him to do that. I've said it before, but we're missing a lot without Emmanuel Quickley. We need to provide what he would have been providing for us if he were still playing here. Paul said we might go 8-0 with the next 4 games coming up. Hold up, let me look up the schedule because I've been hearing a few people say this, and I need to see what the schedule looks like first. So Saturday no. Wait, we don't play again until Tuesday? It's Saturday right now. Is our next game Tuesday against the Blazers? Oh, it is. So the Knicks are getting, I mean, you could say 3 days off right now. The next time we're seeing them is Tuesday. Blazers, that's a win. That's a win right there. Then they're playing the Grizzlies. Oh no, it's why is Google showing the format like this? We're playing the Mavericks on Thursday, January 11th. How are the Mavericks doing this season? I haven't really been even keeping up with the West Coast, really. I'm going to look up their record really quick, too. I'm curious about that. They're sixth in the Western Conference, 21 wins. That's exactly what we have. I'm sure Luka's still been doing his thing. He's one of the best players in the league. Yeah, he is averaging 33 points per game. Ooh, I don't know if we'll be able to win that one. We beat them a few times, I think, last season. Hold on really quick. I'm just going to go get water. My throat's getting super dry. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. My throat got super dry. I mean, I've been talking for nearly an hour now, so that happens when you talk that long. But going back to if we're going to be 8-0, I mentioned that we play the Blazers, which is an automatic win. Then we play the Mavericks on Thursday, and someone just commented. I have to point out that comment that OG will make Luka uncomfortable. We win that game every time. I really hope so. I hope that's the case because Luka is an amazing player. Um, it's hard to defend him. He's so like shifty, crafty with his playing style. I mean, sometimes his shots you'll see it in the highlights. You wonder how that goes in. Truly, I hope you're right though because I would love to get a win against them and keep this winning streak going on. He said, and Jamal said, we're about to go on another historic run playing like a top team. Yeah, we're about to go on our long winning streak that we usually try to do every year. I remember last year we did it. I think we did it twice too. I remember we had a 10-game winning streak and maybe it was a 9-game winning streak. We did it twice. And then after the Mavericks, we play the Grizzlies on Saturday. That could be a win too. I mean, I'm saying we're going to win. Let's say it. We're going 8-0 now. Oh, and then we play the Magic again. I do think we have one of the easier schedules now for the rest of the season, or for this month at least. In the next month, it's going to be easier because we do play a lot more home games. Thankfully, this team has been on the road for way too long. I mean, just throughout the season, they've been on the road for a long time. They've barely been home, it feels like. I'll say we will go on a 8-0 winning streak right here. If we can make it to 10, that'll be great. Let's look at a few more comments and then we can begin to wrap it up. Just Sebastian said, Jalen Brunson has me believing we could beat anyone again. Exactly. You just said it exactly what I think every day. The way Jalen Brunson is a phenomenal player and he makes me believe we could beat anyone. When he plays the way that he does, and even Julius Randle, when they both play amazing, to me, I think we don't need that star anymore. That guy that puts us over the edge, the superstar that everyone thinks we need. When they both play well, a really great game like they did tonight, I have doubts about adding another star. Forever Ron said, "Bring the Bucks now. We just want to talk. Bring them now." But we already faced them like 4 times this season, I think, or 3 times. I know we won 1, we lost 2, or 3. So I'll have to fact check that. Uh-oh. Ed Sell said, "Until Randle learns to show up in the playoffs, we are going to be a consistent second round exit." I just don't want what you said to be true. I really don't. I want to hope so badly that Julius Randle will show up and perform in the playoffs like he's been doing now. And even if he doesn't, I hope that at least other players will step up, because it's not like in the playoffs last year it was just Julius Randle that didn't show up. It was basically everyone. Emmanuel Quickly didn't show up. Grimes didn't show up. There was a lot of guys that did not show up at all, and it contributed to us being a second round exit. If we just had like one more guy score, like be a consistent scorer during the playoffs, who knows? Who knows if we would have made it past the second round? Let's see. And then Edsel said, "With this new lineup, how many moves pieces do you think we are away from being a real contender?" Well, I just mentioned it to you that sometimes I don't think we even need a superstar. I might be crazy when I say that. I might be just too overconfident in the Knicks that we have right now. But I am such a Jalen Brunson supporter that I believe he leads this team and he can lead this team. I mean, who cares if he's short? How tall even is he? Is he 6'3" or 6'2"? Who cares? There have been short players to do it before, and he can do it as well. But if you're asking about, okay, yeah. So to me, a piece we need right now would probably just be a consistent scorer off the bench. Because I don't think that McBride and Grimes can score consistently off the bench. I know they did last night, but tonight obviously was a different story. We still got the win, but I think we would need them to score more consistently off the bench, because we have our starters playing crazy minutes now. Now that we basically have a struggling bench, we had Julius Randle playing 38 minutes, Hartenstein playing 39, and Brunson playing 35. It's crazy. I don't know. These starters are playing a lot of minutes. That's definitely something to note and something to talk about in the future. Is that how long are these guys going to be able to sustain? It's not sustainable. It isn't. Hopeful said, "How was Precious?" And tonight, Precious had 2 points. He was 1 for 1 from the field. He only played 8 minutes. It's not a lot of minutes he's getting right now. I definitely thought he'd be getting more, because he is the backup center technically. I mean, that's what he played on the Raptors, and I assumed he'd be backup center here because Taj Gibson hasn't been playing anymore. So he's been getting Taj Gibson minutes. But we're not seeing him a lot. 8 minutes, but he did shoot 1 field goal. Last game, he had a 3-pointer, which I was surprised about because I think he shoots less than 30% from the 3-point line. It's good to know that he can hit those timely shots, though. I mean, 1 or 2 a game. That would be helpful still. I was really excited. I mean, not super excited, but I was a little intrigued and interested in when we got him in the trade to have him on our team. I thought he could be a key piece for us, even though he's not getting a lot of minutes now. That could change in the future, and I like the fact that he could rebound the ball as well. The first time he got minutes, or the second game, he grabbed 2 offensive rebounds for us, put them both up. That's where he got his 4 points. And I like that. I like guys that give us second chance opportunities. Forever Ron said Murray might want to start and be one of the guys. Yeah, he would definitely have to start. He would replace Dante essentially. So we would have Jalen Brunson, DeJounte Murray. We'd have OG on Anunoby, Julius Randle, and then Isaiah Hartenstein in that lineup. So when you do that, it pushes Dante back to the bench, which kind of hurts, but you're getting an automatic upgrade right there with DeJounte Murray. And in a way, that could be helpful because having Dante on your bench group, he could lead that. He could be the scorer off the bench that Emmanuel Quickley was. Yeah. Sean said it's so odd for a guy like OG to only shoot 6 times and still affect the game in such a positive way. You're so right. I couldn't have put it any better than this right here. He only shot 6 times, and he just affects the way he affects the game in such a positive way. He's really making a difference out there, and it won't show up in the box score. It won't really show up on his stat line, but he does impact the game. You can tell from his plus minus tonight. He was a plus 11. Other nights he's also been plus. I don't think he's been a negative so far yet, but he's truly impacting this Knicks team in a positive light. And he doesn't have to shoot like 15 shots or 20 shots to do it. Andre said, nah, Zion for Randle still. I don't know. That ship has sailed a while ago. You guys are bringing up a few players that I haven't seen anyone mention in a while surrounding the Knicks. I mean, right now, the main things I'm hearing on Twitter or online and articles is DeJounte Murray and Malcolm Brogdon. Those are the two main guys I've been hearing about. I'm not even really hearing about Donovan Mitchell anymore. You know, his contract is up in 2026. People don't want to trade for him because it doesn't make sense if he's going to be a free agent in 2026. Just wait it out. So I'm not really hearing much about him. Brandon is here. He said, best team in the league. And he said, rest in peace, my guy, RJ. Brandon, I feel like I haven't seen you the last few streams or how you've been doing. Because I know after RJ got traded, you were upset. You were in the press conference I had, and I think you were there. Yeah, because I remember you there commenting about it, and you were upset about it. Hope you're doing well, though. And we've been playing great. We're 4-0 with OG now. I mean, you can still watch RJ on the Raptors and root for him silently, but the Knicks have been great, man. Let's keep it going. Oh, my God. And he went on to say, we're dedicating this chip to RJ and IQ. Are you kidding? Brandon, you're going to get people riled up with that comment. They don't want anything to do with RJ and IQ anymore. Sean Kelly said, McBride is not available for a trade till offseason. Yeah, that's what I thought, because he literally just got extended after the OG trade. The Knicks extended him, and I know you can't exactly be traded for a little while after you get extended. Interesting, though. It's really interesting to me that they did that, just because I still assume that another move is coming, another trade. And I guess he can't be a part of that if that's the case, unless the trade happens in the offseason. Edsel said, I wouldn't mind another star and getting Randle to try and dominate when the bench when the bench plays. Yeah, he has played with the bench unit a few times, and we've seen that recently. He could dominate with them because he's the most dominant scorer. The thing is, I wouldn't mind another star, and specifically, I think DeJounte Murray, I wouldn't mind at all because he's a star that could play both ways, and he's tall, lengthy, and I think I would love to have another lengthy player in the starting lineup and just have a guy that can, you think about it just for the future. You think about your opponents, like the Boston Celtics. We have to have a guy that could guard Jalen Brown, that could guard Jason Tatum, guard Porzingis, and we have OG, but he can't guard all three guys. So you think about it like that. You want another player that can guard those guys, and DeJounte Murray is a good fit right there. Kareem, salute. What's up? Solid win tonight. I haven't said great win tonight. I've said solid because we almost blew our lead there. We were leading by 27 at one point. I think they cut it down to 5. It was scary, Kareem. I mean, solid, I'll say. Not the best win, but solid. Forever Ron said keep Mitch even if it's just for the vibes. Nah, imagine Mitch coming off of the bench though. We can't keep both of them. I don't think we can afford to pay both of them. Like Brandon said, Hartenstein is a beast. He really is. He's been so underrated too. You know, not a lot of people are talking about him, but they're obviously going to see the box score. They're going to see the headlines that are Julius Randle has 39 and Brunson has 33, and they're going to talk about OG because he was just traded here. But truly, Hartenstein has been a hidden gem for us, and he's been so underrated, providing what he does. 19 rebounds tonight, and 8 points, and 2 blocks, and 4 steals. Like, that's an insane stat line from your starting center right there. You can't ask for anything more. You truly can't. Teresa said, whose jersey you have on the back? We can't see clearly. Oh, I'll show you. It's Brunson. And it's signed. Let's see. Right there. Had to make sure I got my Brunson jersey. He's our star player now, and he's not going to be traded. Like, the thing is about jerseys is that I don't like getting players that I think are going to be traded. After I got an Obi Toppin jersey last year, and then he got traded this summer, I'm done with getting role player jerseys or exactly that. I'm getting Brunson. I got Brunson, and I think that's the only guy I have right now that's on the team. I was going to get an RJ jersey, which is crazy because he just got traded, and I would have been regretful about wasting my money, basically. Jamal said, we really going to forget how effective Mitch is that quick? We're not forgetting, Jamal. We know he's very effective. He is a very impactful center, and he played very well for us to start the season, and he's always played super great for us when he's not hurt. But you can't deny that the way Hartenstein has been playing with this starting group has been something different and refreshing to see. We know Mitch can't pass the ball the way Hartenstein does, and he also can't score the ball like the way Hartenstein does. Hartenstein had 17 last night, and I don't think you would really see Mitch with that many points. So I'm not trying to forget how effective Mitch is. We still love him. We still want him to recover. We support him. But at some point, I think this summer, there's going to be a decision about who the Knicks keep. And I think it'll be Hartenstein. Karina said, am I the only one who doesn't love the idea of Embiid? Don't worry, Karina, you're not the only one. I know a lot of people, including me, who's hesitant about it, getting Embiid. I was speaking to Joey earlier, who's my co-host for Big Nick Energy, the podcast. He runs the podcast. I was speaking to him earlier, and he was talking about Joel Embiid, why we should get DeJounte Murray instead. And, he mentioned Joel Embiid is a huge playoff dropper. I mean, from last season, his playoff stats compared to his regular season, the points per game dropped by 7 points in the playoffs. So you don't exactly want a playoff dropper. And I know he's an MVP. He's the best player in the league, probably one of the best. But there's a little things about him. I mean, he's also injury prone. He literally just started recovering from an ankle injury. And it's the fact that he doesn't play a lot of games as well. I mean, I don't think it's been a while since he's played a full season. I was looking at his game log the other day, and usually you'll see 60 games a season, 65, but he doesn't play the full season. Teresa said the tattoo is the difference for Hartenstein this season. You might be right. I think he got a sleeve going on. I don't know which arm it is, but I definitely peeped that. and it could be the difference. He looks like a different player, honestly, or maybe we just unlocked Hartenstein because last season he had a lot of great flashes and he stepped up when Mitch was hurt again, and but this seems different, and it seems like we've unlocked starter Hartenstein. He's meant to be a starter. Sean said, Randle for Towns makes no sense. In my opinion, Randle is a better player and is owed half the money Cat is. I've heard that argument before too. Randle is definitely proven himself in the regular season. He's a great player, and Cat's contract is very ugly. Like, being honest, his contract is not great at all. To be honest, Randle and Brunson are on very, like, I guess, team-friendly contracts right now. We're not paying them a crazy amount of money, and they've been playing phenomenal. And Edsel said, Cat doesn't have a mentality that fits our culture. Interesting that you say that. Does it have to do with his toughness? Because I've seen a lot of people mention that as well. They say he's soft and he's not tough. He won't be built for the New York media or the New York fans or MSG. I've seen a lot of people say that. Jamal said, Devo's shooting is carrying us. We don't need to start Chase. You can argue that as well. DiVincenzo has been super underrated. His corner three, it's been lethal. And I really like the way he's fit with the starting unit. He's been with them for quite some time now, and I think he's a really solid starting shooting guard for us. Terrence said, if Brunson becomes an all-star this year, do you think his name will finally be mentioned with the big name point guards? That's a good question. And I definitely think it'll help towards that. It'll help and get him in that direction of finally being recognized, because Jalen Brunson is so underrated and he still gets disrespected to this day despite putting up the numbers that he does. This season, last season, in the playoffs, he doesn't get the recognition he deserves, and you have people just calling out the Knicks saying, oh, he can't be that guy for us. He's not the 1A. But he's been proving it. He's been proving it since last year. He could be 1A for us and lead this team to the playoffs. And possibly pass the second round. He almost did it. He almost did it against Miami. We made it to a game 6, and it was all because of him. I mean, shout out RJ Barrett too, though. He helped a lot during that series and the playoffs in general. But, going back to your comment, if he does make All-Star, I think it puts him in the conversation with the other point guards, especially in the East. He's one of the best in there right now, if not the best. Edsel said, yeah, the comments are about 4 minutes behind. Oh, that's a big lag right there. I mean, I didn't know it was 4 minutes. I'm gonna see if I can find a way to change that. But thank you for letting me know that number. Ralph said, are they still going to try and get Mitchell? Honestly, I'm not really sure if they're still trying to. They were trying to, and then it's tricky because he's going to be a free agent in 2026. So a lot of people are saying just to wait it out, just to wait till he's a free agent instead of, having to trade someone for him, because we also just, who would we trade for him? Like, we really only have Grimes left. If you were to trade for Donovan Mitchell, I thought the guys would have been RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley. I thought those were the guys you would be sending off. We have Grimes, we have Josh Hart, DiVincenzo. I'm not sure if Josh Hart can be traded because he signed an extension in the summer. I'm not sure when he can be traded. But you have to wonder, what would that package look like? And would the Cavaliers accept it? Do we have enough for them? I'm sure they'd want a lot. And probably a few picks. Sean said, DeJounte Murray is the move. he can help us win now. And if Tibbs can get his defense up, the Knicks will have two great wing defenders going up against Boston and Milwaukee. Exactly. Sean, we're on the same level tonight. I agree with a lot of your comments. We would be on the same sorry, going back to the comment. Like, you're completely right. Having DeJounte Murray on the team can exactly help us on the defensive end. I mean, of course, he brings a lot to the table on the offensive end. I think he's averaging 22 points per game. I'll fact check that. Somewhere to 20 to 22 points per game. But the defense, to me, is what could really make the difference between us and other teams. You have him, and then we can actually compete against these big teams in the East and the West. We have guys that could defend their star players. We didn't have that before. Before OG. I mean, we had Grimes trying to guard the best players usually that weren't forwards or centers. But now we have OG and he's usually doing it. But if you had DeJounte Murray, then we could do it against the teams that have multiple stars, like Boston, who have Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, and even the Bucks, who have Giannis and Dame, and they have Chris Middleton and all those guys that are really, besides Dame, they're huge. Then you got Brook Lopez. Which comment was I on? Let's see here. But yeah, I completely agree with your comment. And you said Murray's contract can be used later in a trade for a superstar. That's another point. Sometimes you make a move to make a different move. If, we could possibly, sometimes one door can lead to another door. That's exactly how I'll put it there. Bringing him on, you could trade for another guy. And you also Sean said 11-3 in January. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good record right there. I won't argue with that. And Jonathan said, we need another OG type player. DeJounte Murray isn't exactly OG, but he's tall and he has a long wingspan, super huge wingspan. He can provide something to the table, similar to what OG does on the defensive end. And he grabs a lot of steals. I was watching his defensive highlights earlier today. Most of them were steals. He forces a lot of turnovers, grabs a lot of steals. Taryn said, why do you think coach keeps playing starters during garbage minutes? I don't know. I was a little scared watching our starters still play, knowing that we would win this game. They should have been taken out the moment that we all knew the Knicks were going to win. I mean, I think we were up by that fourth quarter. We kind of sealed the deal at some point, and I think that they should have been taken out earlier. I mean, they were in there until like a few minutes left. And it kind of sucks too, because we were up by 27 at one point, and with the way it was going, you thought that the fourth quarter would have been a 30-point blowout and the starters would have rested the fourth quarter. No, they had to go back in because obviously the Wizards came back. They cut the lead down. I don't know why they're in at garbage time minutes, though. It's scary to watch. We've seen injuries happen like that when players are in late game, and I just don't like having them in when the game is basically over. Keyshawn said, what's up? Solid win tonight. Thoughts on the game? Go New York, go New York, go. Yep, we're going to be singing the anthem for the rest of the month. It's looking like an easy month schedule-wise. We're going to be happy. I know a lot of fans like me, when the Knicks win, you're just happy in life. You're happy in general. There's not a lot of things that can make you upset. Keyshawn also said, we look so much better without RJ. Unfortunately, that's just how it has to be. The truth hurts. I know. You're right, though. We do look better without him. RJ didn't fit here, and OG perfectly fits here. And OG's bringing a lot more to the table than RJ would have, especially on the defensive end. So yeah, we're looking better. Ed Sell said, I follow a bunch of Knicks IG accounts and your takes and updates are the best. Great job. Keep going. I appreciate that, Ed Sell. I really appreciate the support that I get from everyone. And a comment like this, it definitely motivates me to keep posting and to keep going. You guys are the best, truly. And let's go Knicks. I mean, we're all doing this for the Knicks. We all want the Knicks to succeed. And we might not agree on certain takes, and that's fine. We might not all want the same players, but we all want the Knicks to win. That's one common goal we have in mind. We in the North said RJ's home, sweet home. Yep, he's home. I hope he's glad to be back home. And even though we traded him and it was probably shocking at first, at least we sent him home. Young Dread said, I miss IQ still. I do too. I definitely miss IQ, and it'll take me a little bit longer to get over that because IQ was such a positive player and a positive person and a great player for us. He was so fun to watch. It takes a little while to get over fan favorites like that. Keyshawn said, bring in Malcolm Brogdon or Alec Burks off the bench. Oh, yeah. I've seen a lot of people mention Alec Burks. I forgot to say that. A lot of people have been saying bring him back because you guys know he was on the team in 2021, the year we went to the playoffs. And he was a great scorer for us, honestly, on that team. He can still score the ball, too. He's been on the Pistons right now, and I'm pretty sure he's still probably one of the leading scorers. I mean, I assume he puts up like 12 to 14 a game. I'm going to fact check right here. He's averaging 10 points per game. Not bad. It's not bad. He is 32 years old, but honestly, he can score, and he would come off the bench, and I don't think he'd be expensive at all. So that's another option to look at. Teresa said, Wally been talking about Hartenstein. Yeah. Hartenstein's been great. Everyone should talk about him. Forever Ron says, so jelly of that Brunson jersey. Yo, Ron, go get one now. And, like, his stock is going up. You have to get one now and support him. Because I think he's going to be the face of this franchise for a few more years. And he's been great. Winston said the Knicks are more defensive since the trade. RJ was clogging it up with quickly gone. It opens it up for Dante DiVincenzo. He's the new relief man for Brunson. Yeah, pretty much everything you said was very accurate. RJ was clogging it up in a sense. The spacing was bad sometimes with RJ, Brunson, and Randle on the floor. It didn't really work. And on the defensive end especially. I mean, I was referring to the offensive end just now, saying all three of those on the offensive end had bad spacing. But on the defensive end, you're right. I mean, RJ wasn't the best defender. We all know that. And at times he really struggled defending. You get an instant upgrade there with OG. And your comment about Dante was completely right too. Literally the game after the trade, I think Dante had 38. It was so wild to me, but he's Brunson's new relief man, as you put it. Terrence said there's nobody as durable as Randle to trade for. It's hard. A lot of people, including myself, have wanted Randle traded, but there's never been someone that could do what Randle's been doing and also be as durable as you said. There's not a lot of guys that will play nearly the entire season. Last season, Randle only missed a few games, and he's not a typically injury-prone player. I know he got hurt towards the end of the season and then in the playoffs, but he's pretty healthy, and I mean, I'm going to knock on some wood here because I'm not jinxing anything. Yeah, I believe in that. But he's pretty durable, and it's hard to find guys that will play nearly the entire season, that will play 40 minutes a night consistently, too. Randy said, how are we going to sustain all those minutes for starters in the playoffs? Good question, because right now all the starters are playing like nearly 40 minutes a night. Tonight, who had the most minutes? I think it was Hartenstein. Hartenstein had 39, so that's nearly 40. Randle had 38, and Brunson had 35 minutes. OG had 31. I it's really tough. I really hope that they can sustain it. But if they're starting now, January, by the time playoffs come, I just hope they're not worn out and drained, because that's the last thing you want before we start the playoffs. I think the best thing we can do right now is try to really blow out the bad teams that we're going to play coming up, so that these starters can rest in the fourth quarter. That could have happened tonight, but unfortunately we blew the lead. Karina said, I'm considering getting a Knick tattoo. You should. If you're really passionate about the Knicks, you should get it. But I don't recommend anything too huge. The Knicks logo is probably a good one. Or if you're doing a player's name, player's number, that's dedication right there too. If I were to do one, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I would do one, but my favorite Knick football time is Melo. I'd probably get like the 7 somewhere. Just because, I mean, not only was he my favorite Knick, but he really impacted me as well. One of the reasons I started playing basketball myself and learned to love basketball and learned how to play basketball. Randy said we need those Knicks OG jerseys in the shops. Who's going to cop? I think they added it already, if I'm not mistaken. Did they not? I saw someone say that the OG jerseys are in the Madison Square Garden shop. I mean, at least the MSG shop. I'm not sure about anywhere else yet, but I definitely want to cop one. But man, I'm scared of copping another jersey from someone, because last time every time I cop someone's jersey, they end up getting traded. I mean, Porzingis, I had a Porzingis jersey. I had an Obi Toppin jersey, and I would trade, not trade. I would cop a OG jersey though. I really like the number 8, so. Someone said, wait, the Knicks led wire to wire. They blew the lead. Yeah, they did blow the lead. It was 27 at one point in the game, 20 at halftime, and then third quarter happened. Knicks came out sluggish, lazy. On the other hand, the Wizards were completely the opposite. They were tightening up their defense on the Knicks, and they were also hitting their shots. So they cut the lead to 5, I believe. It was pretty close at one point. I know it was less than 10, but it was close. So they did cut the lead, and the rest of that third quarter, it was challenging for them. And then the fourth quarter kind of settled down, and the Knicks took the lead, and yeah, that's what happened. And coach said Murray would make things easier for Brunson and all the bigs. Murray is a natural PG. Yeah, I'm honestly here for the DeJounte Murray trade. If it happens, I think I'd be happy about it. I've seen some highlights of his, and like you said, it would make things easier for Brunson and all the bigs. It would relieve pressure off Brunson and Randle, so that they don't feel the need to have to score like 30 plus a night, and even on the defensive end, it would relieve pressure, because Murray's tall. He has a long wingspan. He provides something to the table on that aspect. So just imagine that lineup now with Jalen Brunson, DeJounte Murray, OG, and you got Randle and Hartenstein. I mean, that has to be something that can contend. To me, that's impressive, and I think it can contend for something. And I definitely think that would get past the second round of a playoff series. Without further ado, though, I will begin to close up the post-game show. I really appreciate everyone that tuned in tonight, that commented. We got a lot of comments tonight. I love to see it. I love to hear everyone's thoughts after the game, between the trades, thoughts on the game. It's nice to see. And I hope you all have a great night. Before we go, though, I do have to shout out the merch shop. We have merch if you go to bignickenergy.com. We pretty much have clothing, shirts, hoodies, and hats for every player. I mean, we have merch for even Taj Gibson, I think. I saw when the Taj Gibson merch came out, and we have merch for Tom Thibodeau. So if you're a Tibbs guy, go get yourself some Tibbs merch. But have a great night, everyone, and peace. I'll see you guys after the next Knicks game, which is Tuesday against the Blazers. See you then.